Hi, this is Meredith with the Cedar Rapids Public Library. I was thinking that now that spring seems to have finally arrived, this would be a perfect opportunity to share with our patrons just some of the resources that I found really handy for exploring the outdoors. Now, the photo you see here is the photo that I will submit if I'm ever asked to nominate myself for Mother of the Year. Somewhere down below are my children. I know that's something that I've always enjoyed, but especially now, in these times of social distancing, is being able to take my kids outside and run around and explore. And it's really interesting to see what they notice and what I notice too. And so it's been on my mind, and I have some resources that I'd like to share with you. So hang tight and let's take a look. What I've collected are a couple of really helpful websites, some apps I've tried, and then some field guides that you can have at your fingertips, whether it's in a digital form or something that you can place on hold and get from the library once we start our curbside pickup. I found that Nature Connections has a really great Iowa Nature Resources page. It's great for finding experts in the area and free materials for young and old alike, and different places where you can go and explore. Something that I noticed too is that just because any one of these resources that I show you has a teacher site or an educational component, that doesn't mean that the material is limited to kids. Some of it's really helpful for adults as well. But through the Nature Connections website, I found a plethora of information. For instance, a link to the Iowa Living Roadway Trust Fund. Now, this is a state-sponsored website that has so many different free materials that you can access immediately by getting the digital PDF online that you can then print out, or a lot of the materials, and some of those that you see here, including posters and DVDs and pamphlets, are available by mail for no cost. So I would absolutely recommend checking that out. Something that you can take with you in your pocket like a field guide, or something that you can watch and explore in the DVD. There were also a couple of really great natural resources blogs that I found that have to do with exploring Iowa's natural resources, outdoor exploration for early learners, and for those of you that like to go out and fish. All of them have up-to-date information that has to do with what's going on season to season, as well as regarding closures and different accommodations during this time of social distancing. Now, I did find that there are some very authoritative websites that have to do with local natural resources. However, some of them are even more accessible, I found, in terms of an app. So if you have the ability to take a phone with you, a device with you in a hotspot, there's some apps that work really well for going out and exploring the great outdoors. The first one is the Department of Natural Resources app. As you can see here, it's called Go Outdoors Iowa, and this is really great for not only keeping in touch with what wildlife is out and about, where to go, certain sites in Iowa that are already established as places that you can go to view nature, like the Butterfly Garden at Bellevue, but also it's really great for folks that are already hunting and fishing and out on the water, because you can also access your licenses and purchase licenses through this app. It's really handy, and it puts everything in the palm of your hand when you're ready to go outdoors and experience Iowa at its fullest. Another great app that I found was the Iowa by Trail app. And this is great because you can create a profile, you can sign in, and you can keep track of not only your own favorite places to go, but hike by hike, what time you travel and what distance you travel. There's also a news aspect where you can keep up to date with things that are going on in terms of trail closures or big hikes that might be going on, or what's important to that time of year that you might be able to see. Now, for figuring out just what you're looking at while you're out and about, I found that iNaturalist was a great identification app for plants and animals. It's part wiki and part social networking, so what happens is you can create an account and you can take photos of the things that you see and then share them with the group. And your naturalist friends will then crowdsource, tell you what you found. It's really interesting how many of these naturalist apps and websites are really run by people out there, using their own expertise to identify plants and animals in the wild. And so I think iNaturalist is a really flexible app to use for that. But if you're looking for something a little more specific, there are certainly apps for just bugs or just birds or butterflies out there. I will say that I did try a couple different apps that were more specific to different kinds of nature. And something that I did want to mention is that I found of all the apps that we auditioned, the Audubon Birds of North America app was probably the easiest to use. I think that for those of us that aren't very familiar with different kinds of wildlife, it's a great place to start. Because if you can see the screenshot on the right, there are lots of different ways that you can go about identifying a bird that are very vague, that give you very specific answers. My almost 8-year-old used it with ease, and it also has the capability to be a social networking and crowdsourcing site, as you can create a profile and keep a record of your bird sightings and share that with the community if you so choose. And if you are a sincere social networker, Facebook has a page for every fan. Here I just put up a couple examples of different wildlife and naturalist Facebook pages that I think would be helpful to join or like or follow. The Iowa Master Naturalists, Iowa Wildlife Center, and Iowa Department of Natural Resources have up-to-date information about seasonal happenings and migrations going on in the area. Now, I will say, in addition, for anything that you're interested in, whether it's pollinators or plants, there's probably going to be a Facebook page for that as well. But these were 3 authoritative sites that I thought would be worth mentioning right here. Now, speaking from experience, you might not get reception out in the middle of nowhere, and you might be the kind of person that likes to take a book with you and have something physical in your hands. Very soon, we'll be able to be more specific about when we can start our curbside hold pickups. In our library's catalog, we have a tremendous number of field guides already available. You can start placing holds on those, and then they'll be available for pickup in the near future. So if you want, you can start perusing the catalog now, create a list, and get your requests in line. And although it doesn't look very fancy here in this picture, we do have Spark kits, which have a field guide and binoculars that you can take out with you. I know I've checked it out myself, and it's a powerful little set of binoculars and a great field guide for local birds. I would suggest putting one on hold and picking it up as soon as possible. And until you can pick up physical items from the library, we have lots of digital resources available for either field guides or naturalist books and books about nature. Here you can see there are just a couple of the selections available from Hoopla for all of you in Cedar Rapids and Marion. And here are a couple of titles available from Overdrive for everyone in the Metro Library Network. And Overdrive is the same as its sister app Libby, so whether you use Overdrive or Libby, these books and many, many more are all available with your Metro Library Network library card. Now, it might be the case that you have either forgotten your card number, maybe you don't have one at all, maybe you've forgotten your PIN number, but that's not a problem. While our physical library is still closed, staff is available to help you with any questions you have regarding your account or getting you that first library card number to get you started. and then you can get a physical card once our doors are open again. All of the resources that I listed here in this presentation will be available through our website as well, so they're just a click away. I hope that you've enjoyed taking a small hike with me through some local resources for exploring the world. Thanks for listening from all of us here at the Cedar Rapids Public Library.